Hello again and welcome back to Programming in Access 2013. My name is Steve Bishop and today we're going to be continuing our section on forms. So I'm going to go back into our Access database, and here we're back to where we left off last time, where we just modified the address type ID combo box. And one of the issues that we need to address is that this continuous form is going to get really long when we start adding more and more addresses. Because you can imagine, if we get 1,000 addresses, it's going to be very difficult for the user to find a particular address and modify it or change it in any way. Now the user could go down here to this navigation bar down here, and you can go back and forth between the different records. You could even use this search option to go find a particular record based upon something that's in one of the text boxes, but most users aren't really used to using this particular navigation tool down here. So we need to come up with our own way of making these addresses easier to look through. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to change, well, I'm not really going to change this, but I'm going to add an option here that gives the user a combo box, basically a drop-down box of all the customers in the system. And then when they select a particular customer, I want this form to filter down to just those addresses associated with that customer. And one of the first things I want to do is I actually want to make it so that this customer name text box is not editable. Okay, I don't want the user to be able to go in here and change the customer name from this particular form. We may build another form that allows them to do that, but I don't want them to be able to do it in this form. So I'm going to do some small changes to the form first, and then we'll address the combo box issue. So I'm going to go back into the design view. I'm going to click on the text box here, and under Data tab, I have the ability to use this locked property. And if I change this to yes, you'll see that it basically locks whatever is in this, and I can't change it. I'm pressing keys on the keyboard and I'm not able to do anything. I can highlight it and I can copy it, but that's about all I can do. I can't change it like I can with Joe Schmo here. Alright, and that's exactly the behavior I want. All I had to do is just change that one flag on the locked property, and that's exactly what I want. Another something that I want to change is I'd like to get rid of these, what they call record selectors. To me, they look a little ugly. I don't particularly like them. They do have their uses, but for me, I just would rather get rid of them. So I'm going to right click on here, go back into the design view. I'm going to click on this upper left-hand corner box so that I'm selecting the entire form. And under the Format tab, we have this option called Record Selectors. I'm going to change that to No. You'll also see navigation buttons, which, if I expand this out here, see navigation buttons. That's that bar that's down here on the bottom that allows the user to navigate back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and keep that bar down there just in case somebody likes to use it. But you can see those record selectors on the left here are now gone. Now that those record selectors are gone, there's not quite as much distinction between each one of these records, so I also would like to change this background color. And it's what we call the alternate color. Every other list or every other row here basically gets the alternate color, and then the original color is selected here in fill back color, like this option here is the original color, and then the alternate fill is the alternating color. I want to change this to something a little bit darker, and now when we view it, we can see that's much more, there's much more distinctiveness between these two lines, and that's what I'm looking for. Alright, you may not like that. If you don't like that color, you can easily go in here and you can, if I right click and go to alternate color, I can select from any one of these colors. I can also click on the detail bar and I can see over here in the format, you can change the alternate color here. Click on the ellipsis and you get more colors or no color, and your standard groups of colors and such. So you can be very specific about the type of color you want for both the regular background color and the alternate color. But right now I'm happy with that. And I need to add one more thing here. and that is a place for my combo box to go. Because right now, I don't really have a place that I can put this drop-down box on this form and make it visible. Because notice if I scroll up or down, I don't really have any place that is always going to be available for the user to select from. So I'd like to do that. And there's a special section here called the form header and form footer. And the way I got there was I right-click on detail on this detail bar, and then I can select form header and footer. And once I do that, I'll get these two drawing areas here in my design view that I can add controls to. I'm going to go ahead and add my combo box, and I get this query wizard, or I get this combo box wizard. And you could certainly, type in the values that you want to make available, or you can go through the wizard to add a query or a table, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to go through the same process that I went through in order to set up the address ID. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this label here to select a customer so that our user will know more or less what this drop-down box is for. I'm going to go to the Format tab, and I'm going to change the font to 14, the color to black, and make it nice and bold so that it's very visible. And it's a primary control. It's something that I want them to really use a lot and know that it's there for them to help, for them to help navigate. I'm going to make the drop-down box a little bit wider. And I'm going to do one other thing here. I'm going to add a button down here at the bottom. And I get this special wizard. And we're eventually going to do something with it. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and change the label here, or change the name on it to close, the text here to close, because that is going to be our close button. And when I open this form back up, you'll be able to see this is essentially what our form is starting to look like. Okay? We have the continuous view. We got the close button down here at the bottom, and you can see when I scroll down through it, the close button and the select a customer stay exactly where they're at. It's the form header and the form footer stay in exactly the same place, and they don't move regardless of wherever the user might scroll to. And that's exactly the functionality I want. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and we're going to finish up our combo box here, by adding the table information that we're going to need in order for the user to select from, and then we're going to go ahead and filter out the form based upon what the user selects in the next video.